all of the athletes here, Chris Webber, like, this is a funny thing, y'all. This is the weird stuff that I do, probably nobody else notices. But I'm looking, we all chilling, we drinking cocktails. Chris Webber grabs a bottle of Moet and opens it up and starts drinking it out the bottle. But that's fine, cool. But it was just so funny to see this big ass man with this bottle of Moet in his hand that looked like a goddamn 12-ounce drink in his hand. It looked like, he's so big and this Moet bottle looked so small to him. It was so fun, like, man, this is crazy.
We back at it today, another Chicago legend that I'm gonna let Twan do the introduction for his man.
Oh, yes. Longtime friend of mine, one of the greats of Chicago that, you know, obviously people know about him, but we want to put this thing on another level. One, our friendship, as well as obviously what he's done and been a pillar in Chicago and the community, obviously in the entertainment space, but my main man, Tone, we've talked about this a long time, having you on the podcast. You've brought me on several platforms that you've had and had me come on. So I'm happy to have you on, return the favor, and just spread the love, man. You're so knowledgeable in so many things, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, whether what's going on in the city of Chicago, and that's what our podcast is all about, the story, man. So thank you for being on, and man,
my dog. My dog.
I'm going to just open up a little bit, Tone. I think, it's important, man, to really start from the basics, man, because you used to have a little partner. I ain't going to take you too far, dude. Partner, but, just take the people a little bit on the journey, man, of how you started in radio in Chicago. I want to really, kind of hone in on that and where you've taken this thing to. We'll get to that later, but just start off a little bit. Give them a little teaser of how you started off in Chicago on the radio.
Man, I give you the quick and dirty of it. I mean, really, it was an internship, and I always tell people, y'all, if you follow me on any of my social media, I go to church all the time, God-fearing man. I had no clue, what I was gonna be doing. I was going to college just because, and I was trying to be, to be honest, I was like, all right, I want to be on ESPN. But I know I'm not. I didn't grow up with people around Antoine, Donovan McNabb, all these different people that I know is professional athletes, and they different. They just different people. So I'm like, all right, maybe I could get kind of good and then be on ESPN. I never even thought, it was never in my mind to ever even think about being a radio personality or even taking journalism classes and nothing like that. I was just like, I'm watching ESPN. I see the guys, the other dudes, because it really wasn't a black man on there before Stuart Scott in that way. It was more athletes, ex-athletes. You saw more ex-athletes doing it. So I was like, oh, okay. Went to college, tried a bunch of different things, and then I had a mark. I went. And after your sophomore year, they tell you to go get an internship. And you're like, all right, cool. So I go get an internship. Well, actually, I get on the train. I meet a lady that changed my life, really. She's like, I can get you an internship at a radio station in promotions. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And that was one of the first hip hop stations in Chicago called 106 Jams. It was one of the first hip hop stations of its kind. It was only 5 all hip hop and R&B stations in the country at that time. So this is like early on in the thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, this is great. My internship, one of my first promotions was, I'm going to hand out t-shirts, Biggie and Shaq and TLC, I'll never forget it. I'm sorry, not TLC, SWV. They at the Navy Pier, I meet Big, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? So I'm enthralled with the lifestyle. Like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I never seen that many celebrities. They giving me free music. All I gotta do is have some energy and go pass out stuff. And shout out to Jay Allen, he changed my life, man. It was like, I was getting ready to go back to school. He was like, hey, I'm gonna teach you radio. You don't gotta go back to school. So I was like, what? taught me radio. Shag, at that time I met Shag, and we was cool. He came on right before me. I would do the late night on the weekends. We got real cool.
Y'all was separate. You were separate. I didn't interrupt your story, but that was just, I didn't know y'all was separate.
Yeah, we were separate when we started because he had already been there. And we didn't even know, and it's crazy, this is how God works. It's so crazy, man. Like, me and him both worked in Lincoln Mall. He worked at Champs, I worked at Athletic Express downstairs. And they would always tell him, or they would always tell me, hey man, you got a brother? And it's a dude in here that act just like you, man. And I was like, man, I got no brother, what you talking about? And nobody that we never knew, but they would always say that to each one of us. So that's so crazy. We ended up having like a 13-year run on the radio, you know what I'm saying? But, anyway, I got that 106 Jams job. I actually got fired from that job, which is one of the biggest learning lessons of my life. I stayed out, had a party, hung out, a birthday party, so I got fired on my birthday, the next day after my birthday.
Wow.
I don't really even talk about that much because it bothered me bad. I never really talk about it, but he had it. Jay called me and said, I got to fire you. You fired yourself. And I never forgot that. He was like, yo, you fired yourself. So, but the great thing is, it's like, I had friends like Jason Weaver, man. I went, when he got smart guy, hung out in LA, and I got to be around, be around, he's a music guy too, along with being an actor. He really showed me another, I really saw it for real, I had never seen an actor up close, for real. I was on the set and I'm seeing these dudes make so much money with their talent, really with their talent. And I think that really inspired me in a sense, to see all of these different black people making money with not, we come from Chicago. It was either somebody was selling drugs or they could run real fast or they had a good jump shot. That's it. Right. You know what I mean? So you ain't really we ain't see that. We ain't see nothing else. So I'm seeing the creativity side of it. So I'm like, oh man. So I end up going back to college and working hard, working on my craft, radio, TV, doing all type of stuff, having a radio show. And then Jay ended up, I just fast forwarded. When I came back, I said, Shag, man, they about to start up a new station. We got on a new station, and then just kind of grinded it out, really. Just grinded it out. It wasn't sweet at the time. We worked 7 days a week. We worked 7.
92.3, right?
Yep, 92.3, yep. And we literally, man, would be working, doing the morning show from 4 in the morning to 12. Shout out to Doug Banks. Doug always was very nice to us, man. I would listen to Doug every day. He would talk. If I asked him for some advice, he'd talk to me. God rest my brother's soul, man. It was kind of like, I compare it to what me and Shag were doing. It's almost like, and it's in a sports way, it's like how Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre. It's like, you know what I mean? You got to see how it was really done and see it in real time. And watch it and listen to him, and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
So would you say that firing changed your life for the better? You took that when you're getting fired, you took that as a life lesson to do better and to change the course instead of being bitter over it and things like that when you got fired? Oh
yeah, I mean, when somebody tell you blame yourself, and you blame yourself for it, because I did, it was my fault. And Twan has seen me many a times be out at night, and they be like, yeah, Tone, you going? And I've been in the business for 30 years. They be like, yo, you going out? I'm like,
right.
I'm gone, bro. I'll catch y'all. I know it's another night. That's the thing. I know it's always another night. It's always another hot party. It's always another event. So I like it's nothing that when I'm doing this, I don't play with this.
Right.
Because it's doing this has changed my life. You know what I mean? And I remember what Jay would tell me. He would be like, yo, hey, bro, if you really good, because if I came in, you young, you I want that, I want this, I want that, I want that. And he would say, hey, man, focus on this and be good at this. I promise you, if you're good at this, everything else has come. And that's been 1,000%.
Let me ask you this, though, to stay in that same conversation. So, I mean, your phone ring every day. I'm pretty sure people want you to host, come out, do certain things. So how do you, balance it out? Because, I mean, it's still a way can be an income where you can still go out. Obviously, you're a personality, so it's the same as like being an athlete. People actually do appearances to show up. Like, how do you balance it out where you stay focused during that week? You got to work because you got to be locked in, 4 or 5 hours a day. So how do you decide whether or not you're gonna go out or stay in on a weekday? I'm not counting the weekend, so I'm just on a weekday.
No, I mean, I guess it's like, it's feeling really, and you know what I mean? And it's crazy when you do this, and I'm sure my radio personality brothers and sisters out there would agree, it's like we always on. So even if I'm out, I'm on. So I'm like, yo, something might happen, and then I'm like, ooh, that's a bit. Like, we always thinking how I could turn, so I turning, like I might be on my phone scrolling while in the Uber, I'll be like, no, I'm saving that. That's a break. We always building our shows for the next day. I don't know why this came to my mind to just kind of compare myself to a Broadway actor. You know what I mean? So, and shout out to them, because you going and you doing Hamilton, Wicked, any of those, you doing that over and over and over again. And you got to figure out how to make that fun for you.
Right.
You got to think about how you want to make the audience feel every single time you go out there. But it's the same thing over and over again. And you also, as a professional, you got to know, like, hey, I never know who's in that audience that could change my life. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's how I got at GCI, to be honest with you. I didn't know that they were listening to me. Some guys, one of the program directors that was listening to me said they had been listening to me on Power for 6 months.
Basically trying to see if you could be that guy? Wow.
They had been listening. So they might like, the Chicago people might say, oh, he cool.
Right.
But it's iHeart, it's big business. So they like, yo, we gonna have somebody from Memphis listening, or somebody from Boston listening, from LA listening, whoever, they gonna have them all listening, and they gonna critique you, and they trying to figure out, but I don't know. I'm just putting on my show, but if I had to just been half-assing through the whole situation, you know what I mean? It could have been to my detriment.
Right.
Well, and then, so let me ask you this, and I always wanted this, and this is kind of totally beef on that. So as an athlete, you go out and people come up to you, want autographs, you get different people want certain things from you. You on the radio every day. You got inspiring artists. People want you to put stuff out. Like, how do you balance that out? Like, yo, you got to go through this channel. It costs for me to say this on the radio. Like, people don't know. The average person don't understand that. You know what I mean? So how do you handle? I always wonder how you guys handle that, because I'm pretty sure, like, if I'm a new artist, I want to put this out. Oh, I know Tone. Let me call Tone. Yeah. Tone, play this for me. They don't know it ain't that easy. Like, how do you handle that type of situation?
That one's always a tough one. It's always a tough one, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to balance between not hurting someone's feelings, because I'm a really direct person, so I had to learn how to soften the blow a little bit in that way. And then, a lot of times, especially when me and Shag were at nighttime, a lot of people, and nights are generally when you would want to break an artist or things of that nature, but we was on, we came behind, we couldn't break nobody because we was on the radio with Ferris. You know what I mean? So I would be telling people I can't, I literally work behind the legend. This fool done broke everybody, he ain't gonna stop.
Right.
It's not gonna, and my boss, I would ask him yo, man, can we, this day, that ain't who y'all are. Mm. Y'all the funny, fun guys that have a good time. This is not who y'all are. That's him. So you have to learn, even though you in the street, you gotta learn so how do I figure that out? So you come up with your AKA scripts or whatever to help people out. But I never want to discourage anybody's creativity. In that space, and to your point when you say athletes and actors and anybody that are a public figure, I just believe, man, I call it the mechanic syndrome. It's the dirt under the nails. If you're a mechanic and you mad about getting dirt under your nails, that's probably not the thing for you. So if you're a public figure and you mad about somebody asking you for a picture or talking to you when you come outside, that's just the wrong profession for you. If I don't want to be bothered with people, I stay my ass in the house. That's just what I do. I just stay in the house. When it's like, yo, we human beings. You know, I don't feel like shaking a hand. I don't feel like taking a selfie. I don't feel like somebody talking about their record. And no fake, no nothing. I just want, I'm gonna go. Or I'm gonna go somewhere that I know nobody even knows who the heck I am, which at this point now it's kind of tough, but like I can understand how people, I couldn't imagine like a LeBron James, what he got to go through, or anybody, these super actors, what do they have to go through to just kind of have a normal night to go have a cocktail, so.
As a real estate agent over the last 8 years, one of the main issues I've encountered with clients is their credit. Whether they're looking to purchase a new home, a new car, remove bankruptcies, or old credit inquiries, Credit Boost consultants have been the experts for my clients. Visit yourcreditboost.com for a free credit audit and use the promo code BRANDEDNETWORK.
So take me through what's Chicago culture, what's Chicago music, like what's different about Chicago versus any other city, major city?
I mean, I watched it, man, like, we watched it, you know what I'm saying? We watched it go from house to hip hop, and we fought hip hop. Like, people don't even know, like, Chicago fought hip hop because the house scene was so big. It was so big, but it was like our generation that pushed it, like, yo, we like house too, but only like for about 20 minutes. like that, we want to hear Mobb Deep, we want to hear Pac, we want to hear, so, I always said it, and I ain't gonna lie, like I heard a New York dude so mad, he was so mad it made me laugh. He was like, man, we don't call Air Force Ones G-Fazos, and we don't, ain't nobody a goofy, they not this, they not that. He was mad that so many New York kids are using our slang. Oh, yeah. When we grew up using a lot of New York stuff, we knew about Brooklyn and Bed-Stuy and those things. We ain't never been off 127th or 63rd or whatever. We ain't never been off Madison, but we know all of their stuff.
Right.
So I ain't gonna lie, like to me selfishly, I do love the fact that everybody knows about Chicago, uses our slang. Am I happy about some of the content? I think that they don't understand the content. Like people they get mad at the drill music, but they don't understand, like really them kids they like, no, they just overselling it. No, them kids really didn't experience death at a rate that we have no idea. Like the amount of people that have died in their lives, the amount of funerals that they've been to, the amount of stuff that they've seen, and they cleaning their closet out. And then, you hear people talking about past rappers and the things that they've done and all the stuff that they did, but they're human beings. They got a right and an opportunity to try to change themselves through what they say.
Take me on when my career I got into television, and one thing that I had to learn being on TV is that I had to take the friend out of it. So I would just try to, like, when I'm critiquing the player playing the game, I try to keep it, if this is my friend, I keep it in the numbers. And what I mean by that, like if you go 4 for 20, I can go in. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I know if you my guy, and I know you personally, I know how it is to play in the league. I know you have a bad night, this may happen. But I was like, that was the hardest part for me, was to figure out, this is my guy. You know what I'm saying? I mess with him outside of this, but I also gotta go in on him a little bit. And I had to run in with James Harden. I'm on Fox, and we even went back and forth. But I'm critiquing the game. But he taking it personal. And it's crazy, and I got to get back in the space. And when I was down, I'm doing financial literacy, so now I'm in front of these guys on the humble side, and we just talking and we chopping it up. And it makes it difficult because now I just had a free run, and a couple years being on TV, not seeing these guys on a personal level. Now I'm back in front of them, and they didn't heard my comments, stuff that went viral. You know what I mean? So it's a different space. So I say all that to say, in your space, being in radio, and obviously being in a big market like Chicago, and with social media now, I'm pretty sure you done went in on certain artists for whatever there was good, bad things they may did, nothing pertaining to music. So how do you handle that when it's that time you may have to interview, and you done went in on somebody on the situation that they've done on an artist?
No, you know what, Twan? No, the good thing is I don't think I've ever, people, I have a way of doing stuff. So like I've studied how people do that. You know what I mean? Like I watch The Bad, where people are like, and some people like, yo, I don't care what, if I see you, I said it, it's my job. You don't pay me, and I really actually understand that. Like, because like really would like this person really give a care about me if I didn't say anything? I'm just you made public news, you said something. It's a way, like, and this is pertaining to you. When your stuff hit, I'm on the radio.
Right.
When your stuff hit, it hit the, and I'm thinking I'm trying to let it slide, and it come up again. Bow. I'm like, ooh, I gotta say something. It's a way that you say it. I have a way of saying stuff that like, yo, like, hey, like I'll say something, and just so you my mans. I can't do. I don't in my space. I don't have to. Unfortunately, in some spaces, like if someone asks me about an album, and I've never had anybody like really get mad at me about an album in a way, like I'll say, like, like the Drake album, like I know that me and Drake share mutual friends, and I know he's seen some of the stuff that I said. I could look him in the face and tell him like, hey bro, like that when you name your album For All the Dogs, we looking for you to say the most toxic, crazy stuff we've ever heard, because you said the most toxic, crazy stuff that we've ever heard. Every dude is waiting to put your verses in his caption. And that was a different sound than we was expecting. Is it a bad record? It's impossible to make a bad record. I think from your point of view, I just think like, hey man, if you playing bad, you playing bad. You playing bad. If I'm on the radio and I'm playing, like I've had other radio personalities call me and say, hey man, you good? You tweaking this week. Oh, really? I've had someone say to me, two of my friends, hey man, you cool? And actually I wasn't cool. It was the 1 week when my best friend had passed away. And another week I was going through some stuff with one of my baby mamas. Right. And he could tell. Oh, okay. He could tell. They was like, yo, man, you ain't. So, I mean, did he say it on a public forum? No. But it's like, it's critique, man. It's critique, man. And you can. I think that the only reason I ask those type of questions is because I think for me, that was the hardest part, transitioning from being a player to going on TV and doing a lot of radio shows and have to talk about guys and talk about performances. So it was hard because I've had drawback. Like me and KD, I read an article about how I was one of his favorite players growing up, and he liked to shake, and he was talking about all these different things. But then I critiqued him. He literally called a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, was like, man, what's up with Twan? But it was just me just doing my job. I'm talking about X's and O's. So, I know it can be hard. That's how I know in that space it's always sometimes really hard when you just trying to do your job and keep it just a buck. Yeah. You know what I mean? It ain't that you going at them, it's just, and I had to learn that though. That was the hardest part about that. And I used to be like, damn, that's why this reporter used to go at me. He just doing his job. He just doing his job. But at that time, as a player, I wanted to fight him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Kind of like that. I had that type of mentality when you think about that. Because back then, when I was playing, especially early in my career, we was reading newspapers. Yeah. It wasn't the internet. I read the newspaper. So you read newspaper articles, so you know who that guy is that's writing about you. You know what I'm saying? You know that writer. So I used to be at the game. I see the writer. I'll be like, I done had an article with Bob Ryan, one of the most storied big-time writers to ever do sports. I'm like, man, bro, you don't know me. Like, why you writing about me? Like, that type of thing. But he just doing his job. Yeah. So that's why I was wondering, do you have that type of, have to go through that with so many artists, especially probably with up-and-coming new artists and stuff like that? Maybe not with older artists that's been in the game a long time, but I know that can be a struggle sometimes. Yeah. And dealing with that. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. A lot of times I see people that I really got, I got friendships with, and I gotta say something. And I report it. Like I always say, I report what happened. So, and my whole thing is I'll give it a little spin on the back end of it, and put maybe my little 2 cents in on it. But I try hard to give people a fair shake. You know what I mean? I try to give people a fair shake. But like I said, in sports, it's all criticism. It's, you know, in music, when they put out projects, you know what I'm saying? And one thing I don't do, like I just don't do, when people got real cases, when they got the law on them, I don't say nothing until your whole thing is done.
The case is over.
Your whole case is over.
But I like
So I try to, because I don't want to be the one, maybe somebody catch a clip and like, oh, and I didn't maybe read something and gave them a different perspective. I'm not gonna help nobody get booked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that'd be the thing. But, you know, I think I would say in my space, the toughest thing is just like for young artists critiquing music. And I always say like, hey, I'm real cautious about it. I really try not to do it. It's some friends of mine, shout out Fly Skins. Like, I know Fly Skins, and I know he can take a critique. And I'll tell him like, hey, you need this, you need this, you need this. And it's not even a promo for him, but like yesterday I heard something, he played 2 records in the club. I was like, that's it.
I love Fly Skins. That's my man.
Yeah, that's it. But other dudes, like, and I always tell people, you know, with music, I was like, hey man, I said, you want to know how good you are? Play your stuff to somebody that don't know you, that don't even know you, man. That don't know you, go take it to another city. Go see what the DJs is thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might have to pay a couple bucks and go early in the party and watch people's reactions to it. If they like, oh, okay, go do that. Cause you know, a hit record, like, you know, that's cause it's got magic on it. You can't, it don't take a million times to hear a hit record. You know it when you hear it.
And I hear about, like, with a lot of personalities and DJs who host events, do different things. Like, being in Chicago, has there ever been any incidents where you were faced with, like, you know, danger or something at a club or from an artist or certain things like that?
Yeah, it's been some dangerous situations. It's been a couple situations that got a little weird. You know what I mean? But I just navigate them a certain way. I know how to move a certain way. You know what I mean? And keep it. And you know. And then, you know, like, a lot of times, bro, like, and even in this space where they saying, like, people doing violence is out of the ordinary, but a lot of times, man, it's a lot of bad people out here.
Right.
That's doing bad things to people that are bad, if that makes sense. So you got a person that's doing something wild, they done something wild to somebody that don't really play them type of games. It usually happen like that. I've been a solid dude. That, like, to me, like, you know, I've said some stuff on the radio about some people, and they be like, man, I heard you said that. I said, no, that's not what I said, bro. I was like, I'll play it back for you right now if you want to. I'll just go get it in. And one person, I actually had to go get it, play it, because I go live all the time. So I had to pull that audio, play it. And he like, oh man, they was trying to. I said, yeah, man.
Right.
He like, I was, and he was, and what he said was, and it made me feel good afterwards. He said, man, that's why I called you, Tone, because you're a good dude, and you always be good and straight up to people, and that's kind of how I live my life.
Is there like a business, because I know y'all, I mean, I can imagine what you have to, social media world, everything that come across your desk on a daily basis. Do you have to make sure, especially when you're talking about an artist, an entertainer, or somebody in space, do you have to make sure it's factual information, or it's okay to support the rumor if it ain't, if you know what I mean?
I don't really, it depends, man. Like that one's tough. Like, I don't really like the room when it come out right away. I like to let stuff like see. Like when the Tory Lanez stuff happened, I just let it go. I let it go for the first day of the music cycle. I was like, man, Tory and Meg got some crazy stuff going on. I'll let y'all know tomorrow once I get more details. And then stuff started coming out. Now I'm going through and I'm giving my spin on it.
Right.
I'm giving my spin on it. But I really try, like, you know, again, the rumors, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is a perfect example, actually. I jumped out the window on Bill Cosby. That's crazy. Bill, that's a lot of women. That's crazy. But then he was like, oh, dang. Oh, man.
Right.
And that was one thing I had to learn. I was like, see, I jumped out the window too early. I got to let this whole thing play out.
Right.
And then because all you end up doing is backtracking. I ain't know. Yeah.
So, and Tone, you're not local here. Obviously, you here in Cali, but Tone go live every day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? whatever topic it is, whether it's relationships, sports, whatever's going on, he go live every day. He don't know. He knows a lot of times I just
Pop in a little bit.
Listen to him, but he goes live, so he brings up real topics or real situations, stuff that he makes up and stuff like that, but he brings real situations up. So I just wonder sometimes, that's why I asked him, because, you could bring up a situation that somebody may not, they taking it a little bit more serious than what he is. He's just getting a general opinion from everybody.
Right.
And he give his opinion, but people take that personal. So I was just wondering, do we get those phone calls like, man, bro, you went in on me, or this, from different people, but he may just be bringing up a general topic, depending on where you catch it at.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he may have that topic up for 2 hours, going in and out of commercial breaks, just talking about it. So I was just wondering that, because I could, some celebrities, athletes, everybody's sensitive in their own way.
Yeah, everybody.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it depends on when you catch it.
Right.
So I know he catch some heat.
Yeah, BT Awards is where I normally get out of my heat. I can tell if I say something, they were like, "Nah, we cool on interviewing you." I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, I respect it, but then because I'm a Gemini and I'm petty. Then when they over it and they want to interview, I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool on it." I don't care what you got going on. I was like, "Nah, I'm cool, bro."
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I just get up and go to the bathroom. And I've done it. So it's like they be salty or be mad or, you know what I mean? I mean, what used to bother me, this because Chicago, used to bother me early on in my career. It used to always bother me. I was like, yo, they would come in and the person come in before you, hey, don't say, ask about this, ask about that, ask about this, nothing. I'd be like, all right, cool. I was like, and then I would do it. And then a day later, they'd go to New York or LA and go and let them ask whatever they wanted to ask. And I get it in that sense, it's a bigger platform, but I just got tired of it. And they're like, to the point where people were just like, and actually that was something that helped build my show, to be honest with you. I turned down interviews, I turned them down. They were like, don't ask about this. I was like, I'm cool then, bro.
Right.
Like I'm cool. I don't got nothing to say. I could talk better about you than if you gonna come in here and just talk around what just dropped today.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I would prefer to just be cool. And I always keep in my head, like, Rick Ross came in, bro, 2 days after it dropped that he was a correctional officer. And I asked him, I said, Rick, can I ask? He said, yeah, go ahead. I said, cool. So we got on the air. I asked him. He gave some wild answer, just all talked around the whole thing. I didn't care. I asked the question. Right. I was cool. I was like, yo, once I asked the question, hey, all right, whatever you said, bro, cool.
Right.
But if I can't get the answer off, I can't get the question off, it made me look crazy. To me, it made me look crazy. So it made me get my career together in the sense of like, I was like, I never want anybody, I don't want my show to be where you listen to it for guests. You listen and waiting to hear the next interview. It's Chicago, so we don't know when it is. We don't live in New York, Atlanta, LA, Miami. Right. People be in and out, but they don't, a lot of times, it's very specific how the media runs go. So I say, hey, I want to build my show, even my podcast, shout out to Zach and Kiki, that nobody, we don't need a guest. If we got one, it's extra, like, oh, okay, they coming into the family. Mine is more, I want you to lock in with us. I want you to lock in with me on my show. And I think the people that listen to me, they listening for me. They don't give a hell about if I got an artist in there. They ain't waiting to hear who he talking to next. I don't want that.
Dope. Yeah, because I mean, that's why I was like, so you just do, so you're gonna go live daily regardless, every day?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, you're gonna go live.
Yeah.
You're gonna come up with some creative topic just to run through the...
Yeah, and sometimes, it's just like it's like sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. Somebody, the calls be like, blah, they all over the place. And other days I might get 4. I'm like, all right, but I think that interaction with for me as a radio personality, I think that's what makes us different than TV personalities, because they can kind of touch us a little bit and call and talk, so.
I got a question. Chicago, music is different. It's always kind of been different. And take me through, I guess, the different eras from when hip hop kind of began here to current day, and give me your top artists of each kind of.
Ooh, that's strong. Ooh, that's strong. Ooh, Woo, that's strong. Man, I started, my first ever tape I ever bought was Common's first album. And then, so that was cool to see Common, and I had learned the story of Common, so that was very cool. Then when I started radio as an intern, it was when Crucial Conflict and Do or Die was popping, when they got right when they started. So I was very locked in on that. The West Side was up. So that would be, I would say, Crucial Conflict, God Rest My Brother Soul, Johnny P, all of them, them was my guys. Like, cause I was literally, and the same thing what I would say about Twan, like, even when I was young coming up into this, like all of the members of Crucial Conflict, all the members of Do or Die, all of them were really nice to me.
Right.
Nice to me and Shay. They were always like, yo, what up, G? When they see you a lot, they're like, oh, what up, what? And still to this day, you know what I'm saying? So I love that. Of course, nobody can deny Kanye West. Shout out to my cousin, Bump J.
You on Bump Cousins?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yep. For sure.
Man,
Bump saw me before.
Wow.
Yeah, before he took his trip down.
I want you to answer that question, but I can get back to Bump. I gotta get back to Bump.
Yeah.
That's great. That's dope.
I ain't gonna say his real name. I used to babysit him. So, man, stop. Bad as hell.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yep. Kanye, and then I guess I go into the drill with King Louis was like, I was like, yo, like when King Louis came out, I was like, yo, it's crazy. Bo Deal, like, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's so, I always have my favorites from each, but I'm a fan of, Von, Dirk, all of the young guys. I remember I remember it was so funny. This girl got in my car. She was like, why are you listening to this gangsta ass song? I was like, oh, this is good. It was when Little Reese dropped his first mixtape. I was with Traffic and all of that. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Chief Keef, I remember somebody was telling me about Chief Keef early on. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. I didn't get it because maybe it was because they tried to show me a YouTube of him, because Chief Keef was humongous in the high schools. He probably, to me, outside of Soulja Boy, because Soulja Boy was an internet monster, but after Soulja Boy, it got to be Keef, because Keef took over the internet. Like, it was craziness. It was crazy. So I saw the clips of him in school, in the schools, and him doing stuff, and like they would just be singing this song, and I saw it, and I didn't really get it, and then it happened right when he got his deal. I'm up late at night. This is tell you how this so wild stuff works. I'm up late at night. I'm on YouTube, and I see one of his videos with all of them in the vacant house, and they wilding, shirt off, they wilding. I was like, this is crazy, but it's good. It's good. It's dangerous. It's good. Right. But you felt the energy, and then it just to see where he took it was very cool. Very cool. Just one true story. His mama showed me a picture. I took a picture with Chief Keef on 95th. It used to be like this fun zone or something on 95th, and his mama brought him there. We did a live broadcast, and we took a picture with Keef when he's probably like 8.
Sidebar to that question though. Just curious about you, because obviously you're in that space. You listen to all these albums. How do you feel about Chicago music? Where you think we at right now?
I think hip hop in a whole is in a different space. I still think our creativity will shine through. We always find a way to carve out. I think it's just right now everybody's trying to find the next sound. Drill's done what it was gonna do. I honestly think I'm interested to hear where Dirk's going. Yep. I'm interested to hear
his next project is going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear where he's going. I'm interested to hear where G Herbo's going. Just all of the young artists that are in here, male and female. I'm interested to see because they create. I don't know what it is, but I want to hear it. I just think right now hip hop as a whole is searching for the same thing, because right now, for a minute, not to say right now, for a minute, they were signing a lot of artists that sounded alike. They were using the same plug-in, using the same auto-tune, just switching up the words a little bit. I think it took a little bit of a low, I want to say dip, but it kind of flatlined a little bit. So I think there's some young man or some young woman in their basement doing what they're doing. I mean, listen to what Glorilla doing. So, but she's not from Chicago, but
yeah. So has the R&B scene kind of, because at one point Chicago was, and R. Kelly was at the top of that, but at one point it was so many coming from Chicago. Has that kind of flatlined too, in the R&B sense? I know R&B is different all around, but has the Chicago music scene in that space kind of?
Yeah, I think a lot of great R&B artists probably will turn to rappers. Because I just can't believe that all of these R&B people just disappeared.
Right.
I think they saw the money that the rappers were generating and was like, yo, I'm about to, I mean, there was a big windfall for rappers for a minute. I think that's another thing that's flatlined. But I mean, Chicago R&B, I think R&B, Chicago's not the only place that's kind of like just wondering what's the next R&B star. We all looking for the next R&B star. There's a couple out that's coming, but I just,
So are you happy where Chicago's at right now musically?
Yeah, I am.
If you had to rank us,
Shit.
top 5?
Jesus, Twan.
I mean, you ain't got to get to specific artists. I'm just saying.
Like city-wise,
citywide.
You got to go Atlanta as number one. You got to go Atlanta number one. You have to. And even if I even said, I didn't even say in Atlanta. If I just said region, if I said the South.
Okay, South is cool, right?
South is number one. And then Midwest, we would be, I think us in the East Coast are kind of tied right now. I think we're a little bit above the East Coast. I think we had, because of Dirk and Von and the drill stuff, because I'm gonna tell you, all that other stuff, the New York drill, the UK drill, the whatever stuff y'all doing is wild when y'all just don't call it drill music. Y'all don't want to just say drill because it's really Chicago. It's ours.
Right.
And I don't care what spin you put on it. I don't care what you do. That's our music. And I ain't going, like that part I don't go on. Like I'm like, yo, you got it using our lingo, using our beats, our cadence. That's our stuff, bro. So just call it drill. Ain't nobody called it Chicago trap. Chicago trap. Trap music came from the South.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Right.
Not just regional.
Got it. What's the nightlife here? Has the nightlife different from when Big Fella had the nightlife popping to now?
When Big Fella had the nightlife, boy, whoa, man, is you kidding me? Oh my God, man! Like
legendary parties.
Legendary, like just legendary. I was not able to get into all of the legendary parties, but I definitely heard about them. Like Twan lit this boy up. That's what I always say. Ain't been not one athlete in the city. It could be one coming, but not to this point. He holds the championship of having this boy lit. Like the biggest artist. It was crazy. It was, that nightlife was probably at the height of Chicago nightlife. Has it had peaks in there?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. There's been some other peak points in it. I think right now it's in a, I don't never like to say dip, it's in a flat line a little bit. It's cool.
Right.
It's cool.
Just kind of piggybacking out there what he just asked you though, because you're in the nightlife. Through Hennessy, got you going out probably a little bit more than where you may want to go out, I'm assuming.
I mean, you know what? It actually works with what I do. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Maybe a casual day, but you may just go show face.
Yeah.
To that. I mean, where you, just speaking for Chicago, I got my opinion. I want to hear your opinion, though, on just Chicago.
Can I hear yours first?
I think our nightlife, and it's been maybe because I'm getting older. I just, even when I go to the happening party, I just feel like we missing something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the DJ ain't rocking strong enough. I still think we can compete with any city in America with women. I think, we still got our good fair share of women, nice looking women. I still think we top 5 United States.
Yeah.
I got us in top 5 still.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Top 5.
Okay, come on now.
Still.
You spent time in Miami for crying out loud.
Oh no, they ain't Miami level.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think like, cause you put on events, you try to do nice things for the city, give them a different look, different vibe of the nightlife. No Hennessy got you going out more than what you probably want to go out. But I'm just saying, be honest though. What do you think about our nightlife? If I was a guy coming in town, right, I'm finna come kick with you for 3-4 days. You feel confident you can show me a good time? Nightlife wise, I'm talking about food. None of that. Just take them out. Can you take me out for 3-4 days in Chicago?
I definitely think Sunday's gonna be our strongest day as of where we at right now. I think Sunday gonna be our strongest day, and that's for everybody across the country though.
That's
Twan.
true. Everybody's doing the Sunday fun.
Sunday, every across the country and culture, that's just the day.
Right.
Yep.
Saturday, I think I could get you gonna have something pretty cool. Friday something pretty like it's everything's cool. You gonna have a good. I mean, it's with us, bro. Like, come on, like that's not fair.
Different.
If you with me, you gonna have a good time. That's not afraid. Like I can, like you afraid like one we gonna be. It's a different type of energy when you with me. So it's like
it just feel like certain cities. I'm just more like, okay, we go to Miami, you know it's popping.
Yeah.
We can go to DC, we know we're gonna be popping.
we can't compare Miami though. Only thing I don't like bringing in Miami and Vegas, you can't compare because they are technically,
Tourist spots.
that's like tourist spots for the country.
That's true.
That's it.
LA,
Okay.
you gonna have
LA, but LA got weak. LA used to be really good. I used to be out in LA a lot.
Oh, that's true.
He's not lying. He's not lying. I live there.
Yes, okay. So
It's night and day from what it used to be.
man.
Night and day.
Okay.
And it's probably because it got dangerous in LA, because that was the
Fair,
thing.
yeah.
LA was like Disneyland for gangsters. You can literally go.
Oh, for real.
You can go wear your chains, your watches. You can walk around. You like, oh, you
Right.
good. You done spent money in the club. You ain't getting robbed. You standing outside half, and you got all these beautiful women around. It was like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, people like, yo, they robbing people out here. They in and out. The celebrities, like I remember when I was with Jason in LA. We went out. I'll show you how long this was ago. We went out. It was literally Fat Joe, Chris Tucker, height of Chris Tucker, Bokeem Woodbine, Ice Cube, Snoop. It was I'm probably missing some people. Megan Good. It was insanity, bro. The Keenan and Kel pulled up. I was like, this is crazy. Now if you go to LA, it won't be the same.
It's not at all.
It won't be like that. That was like, I guess for me, back then, that was the thing. Like, you go out, I had never seen that many celebrities
Right.
out. So you just go like, man, they really kicking it out.
Right.
This is crazy. But you don't think that's their home. But I would say we top 5. We top 5, but I think nightlife in general across the country, outside of DC and Miami and Vegas. DC is special, Houston is special.
Yeah, Houston. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
Houston special, Atlanta special, you know what I mean? Because now they Black Hollywood, so it's
Right.
kind of tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think we straight though. I
Right.
think we cool.
Right.
Still do a little entertaining here. Okay.
So back on Big Fella, there hasn't been another athlete who done it like Big Fella?
No, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, I hear that.
No, nobody can say it because because Twan, we all know he's the gentle giant. He's a friendly big dude.
Right.
So I mean, like you got Jay-Z, you got Beyonce. The first time, and I thought about this on the way over to do the podcast, Twan. You don't remember because you in the midst of being Twan. You had your support group game. I don't know if it was the last one or whatever. This fool rents out the United Center. He has it like, oh, Twan, y'all, we want y'all to play in the game. We want y'all to play in the game. We want you to, and at that time, me and Shaq we in our bag right now. We up. So I think we hosted a little something. We hosted that, and I'm gonna talk about the whole day, guys, so y'all get a real grasp of it. So we like, okay, cool. We go host. In my mind, I have not, because I host so much stuff, I ain't thinking about nothing about the United Center. All I know is I don't care to watch the game, but in them seats.
Right.
But we down at the scores table. I'm like, I'm at the scores table. I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking. All of my favorite basketball players are all here. So now I got to be cool amongst this. Then he got this little dude that's hilarious that I see for Paper Soldiers that's making everybody laugh. Kevin Hart.
Right.
And he's sitting, I was like, and I remember till I said, man, I don't know. I said, I ain't never really heard this dude in person, but he's hilarious. Mm-hmm. He's hilarious. That was crazy. Then you just go on. There's a celebrity game that we playing in on the United Center floor. I'm like, man, are you kidding me? I'm about to play on the United Center floor. I wanted to lay on the floor in the middle of it. And it's late. I wanted to lay like, yo. I like, yo, Mike and Scotty was on there. I wanted to just rub some of this and get some of this on me. I was like, this is crazy. I actually had a decent game during that game.
Yeah,
too.
you did.
Decent game.
You scored a few too that game, yeah.
I scored a few. And so we do that, man. That was an amazing moment. And then he has an after party. Now we at the after party. Mm-hmm. All of the athletes here, Chris Webber, like, this is a funny thing, y'all. This is the weird stuff that I do, probably nobody else notices. But I'm looking, we all chilling, we drinking cocktails. Chris Webber grabs a bottle of Moet and opens it up and starts drinking it out the bottle. But that's fine, cool. But it was just so funny to see this big-ass man with this bottle of Moet in his hand that looked like a goddamn 12-ounce drink in his hand. It looked like, he's so big, and this Moet bottle looked so small to him. It was so fun. Like, man, this is crazy. Yeah. And then I watched one of the things that happened. Everybody starts freaking out. Why? MJ comes in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, this fool and got MJ coming through this. And this is what I told everybody. I always told everybody. I was like, man, MJ, and it was all type of celebrities in this thing. Yeah. Celebrities, entertainer, I mean everybody, because he had this whole beautiful weekend. And I'm like, I've never seen, we talking Sid and all of the people that were in this party were at their height of who they were. So to give you some perspective, it wasn't like, hey, I done had my run.
Right.
No, everybody's at the height of who they are. Twan, everybody's at the height. And Mike comes in, and everybody turns into fans. Mm-hmm. The moment Mike is, I said, Mike is the most famous person on the planet.
Right.
At this point, I was like, this is, and I think he may have retired. I don't know what if he was playing anymore. I can't remember that part, but I definitely know everybody had to go shake that man's hand. Everybody. I was nervous. I didn't shake his hand. So I just looked at it like, there go Jordan.
He participated in 2 years in a row, he participated in the softball game. Remember, he played in the softball game. Because he played baseball, he's a big baseball guy, he played the softball game. But the crazy part about, I always tell people about that time, doing that Chicagoland Classic was really dope, and bringing celebrities to Chicago, and we just kind of try to show our city off. That's what I liked about it. I was like, yo, because I'm locked in Chicago to the day I die. So I'm like, man, like, this is Chicago. We can entertain. We can bring celebrities here. We can actually, like, have a good time. You know what I mean? Y'all can come here because he know and you know that the things that Chicago is rough, it's tough. You can't have a good time. So that was our main thing, to make sure everybody have a good time. But I always laugh, and you know how you go back and you look at your old, fouls and stuff like that. I was like, man, I got Kevin Hart for 4,000. You get Kevin Hart right now, he 100,000.
100,000. Yeah, that's
a meal ticket.
No, seriously. Like, I got actual invoices of us paying Kevin Hart $4,000 or $5,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To bring him out for the weekend, to perform, all that. Like, and this is crazy when you see that stuff. You're like, man. And it make you feel good. You're like, man, at least I caught this dude before the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you saw what was coming.
Yeah.
You saw what was coming.
Like, well, that was just like one example. And obviously, we cool with Kevin now. We obviously, so it makes it really special now. Kevin still talk about that to this day, about how he used to come to Chicago and do the thing and all that. Yeah, I mean, obviously. So now it's great when you go back and see it. You know what I'm saying? About that. I think that's one thing that what I wanted to do for this city, that people don't understand. We got a great city. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we got a lot of great, influential people that sometimes don't get the national attention that other cities get. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what the weekend has done. And that's the only problem I got with our younger guys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Derricks and all. Like, Derrick's MVP. Can you imagine if Derrick called the guys in the league when at the height of his career, yo, come to Chicago, y'all come doing some charity for Chicago. I mean, it'd be unbelievable.
But he was a different
But not saying he had to
personality
do
than
it. Not saying he had to do it.
Because you were an outgoing dude, though, Twan.
That's true.
You got to
Yeah,
remember, you were
that's
like,
true.
you everybody friend. Like, when you came in, like, it was.
I just wanted to see that torch. I just felt like he was the only one that could really light that torch. Because he was from the hood.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Yeah.
First pick in the draft. No, we just had so much respect for him. So I thought he was the one guy that could have.
Yeah, he could have.
But that may not. That's not everybody's personality. You don't hold that against him. But I always felt like that was the one thing that was missing from turning out City Great. Because you get people, you bring people here. People love it here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People love it here. Restaurants. No, even we look at the clubs differently because we partied in different areas. But to some people, it's popping.
Yeah.
You from out of town, you like, man, to us it's just regular crazy.
Right.
But you know what I mean? To other people, it's popping. It's a good time. So that's the things that I miss, and I think that, you know, that hopefully we can transition to some of the young guys. Not saying that's our thing anymore, but we still like, you know, Tone, do something. I mean, you know, Tone, you pretty big. You know, you do a party, they coming out.
Yeah, you want, ladies, we want you to come out. Like, that's the thing. That for us, I mean, for the people who've been watching the pod, they're gonna see. I mean, for guys, I don't expect a lot of women to understand it, but for guys, when guys are talking about where to travel, single men, when they talk, they like, where is the hot party that got all of the fire chicks? They might not even holler at one woman in there, but they just want, for us, y'all, women make it better. The more pretty women in the party, the better the party is, 100%. And that's just what it is.
No, and you know, before we get out of here, what I want to ask you, just break this down to me in your field. So you know how we always argue about basketball, like who's the top 5 best ever, who this, who that, who's the top players in the league. In your field, in your profession.
Ooh, look at you. God damn it, Twan.
I mean,
come on, man.
Just give me. You ain't got. All right, if you don't want to put a number on it, just name a couple of dudes that's just like. God damn. Like 4 or 5, like, and it might be a woman that's in the space.
I'll go, and some of it comes with a story, and some of them. So I'm gonna always say, you know, I appreciate what Doug and Tom did. Doug's probably my number one because I pretty much mimic his style with my own twist on it. So it's kind of like I feel like.
See, that's something I wouldn't have never knew.
I gave you one.
Go ahead.
Nah, I gave you one. I mean, but it is like Doug. I've listened to him so long. Doug. I just try to put my own spin on Doug, so it's kind of like a Kobe Mike thing in a sense. And then it would be like, you know, I used to listen to Big Boy. Like when I would go to LA, like, man, I would see Big, I would listen to Big. I would literally set me and Shaq. When we did the Parkers, we was in LA, we would set our alarms. Our call time to be on set was at 9. We set the alarm at 7 o'clock to get up so we could listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, I hit the poo poo. Hey, bro. You up? You hear? All right, we listening to the Big Boy Morning Show. We wanted to hear it. You know what I mean? Because I want to hear the top of the chart, top of the genre, in a sense. And I mean, like, I'm a Tigger fan. Like, I can't believe. Like, I said, like, I tell people all the time.
ATL, right?
Yeah, he's in Atlanta now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up watching. You know, I think me and Tigger might be 2 years apart, but still, I looked up to what he did, man. Like for real, Rap City was a real thing, like a thing, and he made it feel like it was one of my homies. I was watching one of my homies, so I always rock with how Tig does it. Super professional, can edge it up a little bit. Just I think he's one of the top people. Angie Martinez.
I was gonna ask you about a woman.
Yeah, Angie Martinez is probably, you know, like I said, like I did actually got a chance to do a show. I was doing my show. We were all in the radio room, and I'm in the room with Tigger. I'm in the room with Angie. We all doing our show, so we hearing each other's breaks. We seeing it's other radio person. We hearing each other's breaks. I'm sitting there, and like Angie, I'm sitting there. This is the first time I ever meet Angie. Like, and I'm doing my break. I see her look at me, I'm like, oh shit, I suck. And I do it, she look again, like, all right, cool. So I'm like, all right, I say, man, I gotta focus. I can't Tig over here, right. Angie right here. I got 2 legends that I'm doing the show. I'm like, this is when I first started doing afternoons by myself. So I'm like, yo, like, And then I never forget, Angie came and said, we were at a bar drinking, I was went and had a cocktail. She walked right over to me and she said, hey, you got it. She was like, keep going what you doing. I was like, thank you. And I ain't gonna lie, I had to go to the bathroom like, oh, like, yo, Angie Martinez, the one that got the best conversational style, because I used to listen to her too, because the way she interviews is just, I mean, it's a legend. Like, she just sit and talk, and people just open up, and she just has a way. You think she's just having a real conversation with people, which she is, but she's still taking care of business, and it just don't feel like it. So I would say that Charlamagne is the reason I'm at iHeart, one of the reasons. Charlamagne's one of the reasons I'm at iHeart. Shout out to Kendra G. Her and Charlamagne were really cool, and I was debating on going to iHeart. I was unsure, and she was like, yo, you need to call Charlamagne and talk to him. He'll, he could reassure you. I think she had maybe talked to him about me being kind of hesitant or whatever. And Charlamagne, man, talked to me, man. This is Charlamagne, one of the biggest personalities on the planet. And he talked to me like, hey, man, nah, man, and gave me some real cool advice. And I'm glad I followed it and went to iHeart.
That's dope. I always wondered, because in your space, obviously, you watch that. So is it like a, the end goal for an athlete, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to, obviously, you want to make the Hall of Fame. That's probably the end goal.
Yeah.
No, you go like, okay, I want to be an all-star.
Yeah.
Then you want to win the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Then the next is like, can I get to the Hall?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got all these things kind of lined up I know that's how we think as basketball players. Like, in your game, in your profession, what's the end game?
I think for us, it's first is like, most of us start out on weekends. We start out with weekends, one day a week. And you're like, yo, I want to be a full-time personality. And you're like, I got to do that. I got to be on. And then most of the times you starting off, you're in 10 to 2. That's what me and Shaq started, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then you're like, okay, now the next step is 6 to 10. So what we looking at is day parts. So now the next step, all right, I got to be 6 to 10. Next step is from 6 to 10, I gotta be on in the afternoons. And then the next step from afternoons is, hey, I gotta be mornings. I gotta be mornings. And then you thinking in that space now. So
mornings is the all-star game?
Mornings is the all-star game. That is where you become a star. That is,
wow.
And then no matter that, they try to tell you what the metrics is. Oh, it's more people listening to the radio and at night, in the afternoons, you might have, but everybody respects the morning show. You put together an amazing morning show, you can become a legend, and then you'll be syndicated. That's the next step, and then it's the Hall. So of course, I want to be a Hall. That is what, at this point, for me, we always plan for money. But it ain't the sole purpose. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm playing for legacy right now. Like, everything that I do is for legacy. It's pushing what I've done, Tone Kapone, and just taking it, I've given my whole life to it, to give it this last push on the way, not necessarily the way out, but just on the back end. Ain't no secret, everybody know. I'm on the back end of it. I ain't new no more. So it's trying to be like, yo, I want to make sure my jersey in the rafters. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's like how people talk about, like, for LeBron. Like, they like, yeah, you talk about LeBron James, the Lakers don't win the playoffs and blah, and whatever. LeBron jersey in the rafters already. He already in the Hall. He just playing to cement the legacy right now. And that's what I'm doing. I'm cementing and trying to get these last two pieces. Of course, LeBron James further along than me, but I would say I'm on the back end of getting these last couple pieces to make me a legend. That's what I really want to be, in my eyes. I've heard people say it. You said it. I appreciate that. Other people say it. I appreciate that. But to me, I feel like I would reach any type of legendary status if I touched that Hall of Fame.
I always wondered that in that profession, because it's not a lot of turnover. People, you guys become legends because people listen to you for 20 years and got to know you and enjoy you on the morning basis or the afternoon basis, that you become legends to them. And that's, because obviously that's what people do. So I know that. Like, I remember as a kid, Tom joining shows and Like, and I wasn't even, you're not even ready, but I'm as a kid, you remember them, like dominating and wanting to be a part of that. So that's how I know, that's how it is in the league. I mean, for guys, you want to figure out how you can, when you walk out, people know who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people, where I stand out, just for me, like, I'm one in college and pro. It's like 50 of us.
Yeah, that's crazy. And people forget that, bro.
Yeah, like it's like 50 of us. So that's like that's my claim to fame to anybody, even though I don't back down from nobody, but in that sense, that's my claim to fame. I got one with college, I want one to pro, like, you know.
And you did how many years of college?
2.
2, yep.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? So I'm like, it's only like 50 people. 50
that's
players
crazy.
that won one on both levels.
That's crazy.
If you want to stretch, it's 60. Maybe because I don't know the new generation.
And probably a lot of them who were actually, stars on both, or some
Right, play
just on the team.
play significant roles.
Right.
You know you can grab one at the end. Ty Goodfella knew. Juwan grab one on the end. Knew my man. You can grab one on the end. But you can grab one on the end. But so I always wanted that when you talk about other professions. Like, what's that? You know what I mean? Like everybody else, most people work to get to their retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They get to that retirement check at the end. But just for people that's in the entertainment field, it's always different for athletes, entertainers. So like, what's that end game? That's why I always wanted that.
Yeah.
I know you see a lot of entertainers, actors that walk, get in Cali, get on that walk.
Woo.
You know what I mean? That's sometimes, you know what I mean? That's the end game for
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? So I always wondered that for different guys. So that was like really enlightening to see where, your career can be at, to where you want it to be and where you want it to finish at.
Yeah, like when you, I mean, that's it. Like, you a hooper, bro. You did your whole life to basketball. Your entire teens, young adult life to basketball. And I tell people, it's some people try to talk about it, they might minimalize it or whatever. A lot of times people see the end of Tone Kapone, but then when I start talking, then it's like they're like, oh, like, bro, like, man, me and Shaq been on MTV. We we turned down an MTV deal because it was small. Like, it was time. Like, it's been so many things, man. So it's just like, once you give all of that energy and all that, you like, yo, this got to finish how I needed to finish. And for me, it's just like, it's just, like I said, it's the athlete part that pushes me to say, hey, man, I got to see where I rank with Charlemagne, where I rank when they mention, like, if somebody else on a podcast and they like, yo, Tone, one of the guys, man, like, I listen to him. And that's really, like, I'm just playing for legacy right now.
Dope.
Man, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you coming here.
Yeah.
Blessing us today.
No.
Man, it was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, brother, love, brother.
Yeah, love. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, man, and you gotta, like, and one thing about it, we appreciate you coming on, and this is what we're trying to do. It's like, you got a story to tell. See, a lot of people don't, like, that's what we, being in this space, I think that's what one thing that we felt like that was missing. Everybody come on as guests, you have great guests, but it's a journey. You know what I mean? It's the journey, the story you got to tell.
Yeah.
I think that's where, that's where it's different at. So, and hopefully, people listening and your fans and people that follow you probably don't even, hopefully they can learn from your journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a motivational thing, I think, that we all do. So people don't understand that we set out at 16, 17, 18 years old to get in our profession to get to that certain level. And it's all about that journey. And I think, you got an amazing journey. People don't know that. You're on the radio every day. You want to, I don't know, what's the third biggest market?
Yeah, third.
Probably third biggest market.
Number 3, baby, there. That's right. See you.
You know what I'm saying? And you got a journey. You know what I'm saying? It's a real true story to tell that can inspire a lot of young kids, women, to be at the level that you want to be at. And I think sometimes that gets overlooked. So that's what we're going to try to change the narrative about that. We're trying to really find and hone in on guys and women that change that narrative and got a real story to tell. I think it's motivational, for all of us to just keep building and you can get to your dream.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
But I appreciate you, bro. Love you, man.
Man, love you too, brother. Always,
baby.
all time. I done known him for a very long time. Long ass time.
All right, we appreciate you tuning in. Another episode. We got a story to tell. Till next time. We'd like to thank today's episode sponsor, Credit Boost Consultants. Are you in need of credit repair? Whether you're looking to get approved for a house, apartment, car,
or credit card, or you need negative items that are destroying your credit removed, such as late payments, repossessions, foreclosure, or bankruptcy, Credit Boost Consultants is for you. Visit their website at www.yourcreditboost.com today for a free credit assessment and consultation. Use promo code Branded Network for exclusive 15% discount on all their credit repair services. We'd like to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Lux Leaf Dispensary. Are you looking to elevate your cannabis experience? Visit Lux Leaf Dispensary in Madison, Illinois, your premier destination for premium cannabis products. Whether you're a seasoned connoisseur or new to the scene, Lux Leaf offers a curated selection of top-shelf flower, concentrates, edibles, and more. The knowledgeable staff is there to guide you through your journey, ensuring you find exactly what you need. Visit Lux Leaf Dispensary today and discover a new level of luxury in cannabis, or visit online at luxleafdispensary.com.